Wait. Okay, hear me out. I had to do this for a reason. The movie isn't how people remember it. And it never was. This movie sucks. My biggest grievance with this movie is that it's hardly about Tiana. And Tiana isn't really black. Claire, what are you talking about? Of course she's black. Look at her skin. Look at her nose. Look at her mother's nose. Yeah, I get that. I get that she looks black, but you know, you could say that about Indian people. They got dark skin. You could say that about a lot of South Asians, to be honest. They got dark skin. Does that make them black? Black American? No. We do have a culture. I swear to God, there is a culture. And Disney decided to do no research because they're like, well, we know black people. They live down the street. Yeah, they live down the street. So you don't know them. You don't know them. You need to go talk to them. You need to go see what it's like to be a black person. Because it seems like you don't know. And that's what The Princess and the Frog is. A bunch of white people not knowing, but assuming that they know what black people are like. I turned her white. It's just to illustrate my point. But I will say her being white doesn't make her culturally white either. Honestly, she's just kind of an empty shell culturally. So Tiana is white to show how she's not black. I spent a lot of time making this artwork just to illustrate my point. I only changed her skin and her nose. Sometimes the size of her mouth, but not all the time. The things I noticed, because of course in the beginning I only changed her skin. Immediately, the nose stuck out. And one thing I didn't realize would stick out, her lips. This only happens as a child. I didn't realize that. So like child Tiana, she has full lips. Child Charlotte doesn't. She has a line. So that was surprising for me. As you can see, child Tiana with just her skin color changed is wild. It looks wild. So of course the nose had to change too. And the other rule was the parents have to change because it has to make sense. Where did the whiteness come from? So then you'll see I did the same with the dad. None of the white men really have any defined lips. Shocking, I know. But the black dad, of course he does. Full lips. All the black people have full lips. Doesn't matter what age. But the white people, if you are an adult white woman, yes. Other than that, I guess no. I guess the answer is no. So that's the only changes I made. I made her parents white and I made her white and nothing else. That's the basis of this experiment. Is Tiana still black? No, she is not still black when I changed her skin white. So let's start from the beginning. Since only Tiana and her parents are race swapped in this examination, we will only follow the story from Tiana's perspective to see if anything has fundamentally changed. We will look at the major story beats for Tiana and scenes that might be awkward if swapped. So we open the story with Tiana listening to the Frog Prince story with Lottie while her mom sews a new dress. Then Tiana goes home with her mom. Peep the white dude on the porch. The family makes dinner together. Pretty normie. Tiana gets put to bed. Wishes on a star to get her restaurant. Now it brings folks together from all walks of life. This scene is the first awkward part. Whew. It's an awkward scene. Let me tell you why it still works. One, there's still this one white guy. Why is he here? Why is he here? I thought we were making a point about race. We never are, because this society is fully integrated. There is no segregation. The issues are class, not race in this movie. I know. Tricked you, didn't they? So here we have, of course, the white people sharing their meal with the black people. You see how it's awkward. It got awkward when we changed their skin color. It becomes a white savior moment. We have to acknowledge that. That's a thing that would happen if we turn Tiana white. She gets a white savior moment within the first 5 minutes. And then, of course, this woman does not sleep. we just skipped to Tiana going to work. I don't know why these beignets look photorealistic. This is just a screenshot. I didn't make this. I just colored over the skin and did some of the line work and stuff. That's it. So I don't know if that's really part of the movie, because I got this particular screenshot from a website. So let me know if you stop the movie on this frame and you also see them looking like photos, because they don't look like that in the other shots.
We all going out dancing tonight. Care to join us?
Yeah, Tiana, live a little.
Okay, so here this scene can also be sort of read awkward, I guess. If you're confused as to why a white woman has a lot of black friends, I feel like it's not awkward. Look at the amount of white people in the background. There is no real issue here with race. Everyone looks happy and comfortable. There's not even a section for just whites and a section for just blacks. No, everyone is everywhere. So this scene is less weird, because it's like, oh, well, white Tiana has black friends. She lives in New Orleans and she works at an integrated restaurant in the 1920s. Sure. So, Lottie shows up because, of course, she does. She has to be part of the movie because I don't know why. I don't know why either of these characters are in this movie. But they're in the movie and they cause everything to happen. Everything important to happen happens because of these two white people. Think about that. Tiana gets hired by Lottie to cater the ball, just provide some beignets. So Tiana claims the old mill and prepares to sign the contract at the ball that night. I want to point out this moment. Look how simple it is. They are sure that they're going to give this to Tiana. The Fenner brothers are removing the sign. So they're not thinking, oh, I'm just going to snatch it back later. It's clearly not in their intention. Because why would they do all this if they were just going to give it to somebody else? And then she sings about her future restaurant with her mom. Here's where it gets awkward again. The freaking waiters, man. Yeah, this scene, it feels right for the time period. I'm not gonna lie. It fits almost too perfectly, because this is exactly what would be happening. Like, of course you would have the black people being servants in your fancy restaurant to serve the white people. I mean, in this universe, the racism is already solved. So we can't even expect this to be awkward in their universe, that she just managed to hire a bunch of black men. I mean, wouldn't it feel weird for Tiana as well? I mean, black Tiana as well. Look, black Tiana is Tiana. White Tiana is white Tiana. And then we have Tiana at work at the ball. Tiana tries to console Lottie. And here we have the Fenner brothers.
You outbid.
What?
A fella came in, offered the full amount in cash. Unless you can top his offer by Wednesday.
You can kiss that place goodbye.
You know how long it took me to save that money?
Exactly. Which is why a little woman of your background would have had her hands full trying to run a big business like that.
What background is he talking about? Of course, it's the fact that she's poor. It's always been the fact that she's poor, not that she's black. It's not even in the subtext. You can see how the Fenner brothers act. It's not that they suddenly don't like Tiana because she's black. They knew she was black the whole time. So it's about class. Of course, we black Americans took it to mean racism, because it should have been racism the whole time. Why would it be something else? That doesn't make sense. We weren't dealing with just class issues. Anyway, she gets dirty. She gets a new dress. And this is when she runs into Naveen. And she's a frog. As you can see, nothing changed in the first part of the movie. There's nothing really uniquely black here. Now we're in the frog part. Tiana and Naveen accidentally get thrown out into the ball. They run from Stella, the named talking dog, who never appears in the movie ever again. They get tied up in some helium balloons and carried away into the bayou. Tiana agrees to help Naveen after he promises to marry Charlotte and pay Tiana with Charlotte's inheritance. Didn't know that suddenly became Naveen's money. Tiana and Naveen meet Louis. Tiana's body tries to eat Ray and gets tongue-tied with Naveen. Awkward. Ray untangles their tongues and Tiana cooks food for everyone. This is the second time and the last time we'll see her cooking food. So they go to Mama Odie and she tells Tiana she works too much. Tiana completely misses this and only hears,
I need to dig a little deeper and work even harder to get my restaurant.
Completely misses the point. If there was a point, I don't know, because I guess they didn't care, despite Ray being like, let's just sing it again until she understands. But the movie decided it wasn't important for Tiana to have a character arc. So Mama Odie reluctantly tells them how to be a human. Why reluctantly? I have no fucking idea. Maybe she thinks humans are happier as frogs? They are not. Frogs die way quicker, first of all. Tiana, Naveen, Louis, and Ray teleport onto a riverboat. After that, Tiana disappears for a while so that we can focus on the movie's main character, Naveen again. And Tiana finds herself on a date? She seems unaware. Tiana sees her restaurant and leaves Naveen because that is clearly more important to her.
Folks are gonna be coming together from all walks of life just to get a taste of our food.
Our food?
Huh? Oh, no, my daddy.
Tiana corrects Naveen so that he doesn't misunderstand her intentions because she is not interested. When she says our food, it doesn't mean you, Naveen. Naveen then promises Tiana to get her the restaurant. You've already promised that 3 times now. Tiana talks to Evangeline and turns into a completely different person. Tiana now thinks that she has to choose between her restaurant and a frog she met 2 days ago. She was having such a good time trying not to eat insects and trying not to get killed, never having met this man in her life that she knew of. After 2 days of being a frog, it was most important to her to throw away her lifelong dream to be with Naveen as a frog for maybe 10 years at best. Anyway, Ray tells Tiana that Naveen wanted to propose to her. Obviously. This is why I say she became a new character. Tiana gets excited and runs to the parade, even though she came off the riverboat asking if anyone knew where Naveen went. So how the fuck she know where to go? Tiana sees the butler Naveen on the float with Charlotte and for some goddamn reason forgets that there was a fake Naveen. Like, dude, she was literally saying on the way there.
You just keep your eyes out for the biggest, gaudiest float with a Mardi Gras princess about to kiss herself. Oh, a frog.
Not sure why she would forget her own words immediately and assume Naveen not only kissed Lottie and turned into a frog, but changed clothes and proposed to Lottie and decided to get married all in the time that they walked off the riverboat and her hopping to the scene. So she runs away crying to the cemetery. It's our next stop on this tour of New Orleans and the bayou. Tiana is literally just chilling in the cemetery, and then Ray runs into her and gives her a talisman and like a quick rundown. 1 hour, 18 minutes in, our 2 main black characters meet. And Tiana finally becomes a human again, but it's a tease. Now this is where the coloring got weird. I tried so hard. So just, you know what? You'll see some changes. I was trying a lot of different things and almost none of them worked. They just all kind of were almost there, except for this last one. I gave up. Dr. Facilier offers her the restaurant of her dreams if she just hands over the talisman. She decides that the talisman is wrong and tries to destroy it.
Easy with that. Careful.
And neither will I.
Oh my god, how embarrassing. And they made her look like a fool. They made her look like a fool in her own movie. She's not even part of it. This has nothing to do with her. Literally no stakes in the game. The shadow saves the talisman, making Tiana look stupid. So now that Tiana is looking stupid, the writers decided it would be a good time for her to tell that stupid joke.
I got news for you, Shadow Man. It's not slime. It's mucus.
She doesn't defeat Dr. Facilier with mucus, however. Instead, she wins with a stretchy tongue and a weak grip. Cause like, she's a frog. The funny thing is that Dr. Facilier could have murdered Tiana in this moment. No one seemed to say anything about her missing. Like she literally disappeared in the middle of the night and no one cared. And Dr. Facilier could have snuffed her out and called it a day. Instead, we had to give her an easy win after making her look stupid, as a human for that matter. In all her glorious blackness, she looking stupid. Anyway, Tiana destroys it and just knows where exactly to go again to find the next part of the plot. Tiana arrives in time to hear Naveen making a deal with Charlotte to marry in exchange for funding Tiana's restaurant with whatever she needs. Sounds expensive. Tiana waits until their lips almost touch to argue against becoming a human again. Because why else would she stop this at the kiss and not the fucking wedding, or just, you know, after the kiss? After you're human. New Tiana loves being a frog and wants to be a frog with Naveen, who is also crazy enough to think staying a frog is okay. She would not give up her human life, everything she's been working for, where she doesn't even goddamn sleep. She gonna give that up for this man she just met, who lied, who turned her into a frog, who gave her like the worst 2 days of her life probably. Nope. Now that Tiana is going to stay a frog because reasons, she watches an uncrushed firefly die slowly. They go back to the swamp to have a funeral for the firefly they just met yesterday. So like the very next morning, she marries Naveen. Even though they met 3 days ago, she only started liking him about 14 hours prior to saying I do. So yeah, that's interesting. What's more interesting is her human wedding. Curiously, Tiana's human wedding happens in Maldonia and not in New Orleans. The only person from her family is her mother? How? So I think this is striking. If we turn Tiana white and her parents are white, all the people that come to the wedding are white people then. It's literally just those three. Guys, this is the number one thing where I was like, Tiana is not black. Like how is it just her mom came? She's from the South. She's gonna have like the roots going deep. There's gonna be a lot of family. She gonna bring all the family there to the wedding. It's not just gonna be like the friends over family. Hell no. Not in the 1920s. I don't know if this is why it's in Maldonia, to keep the pores out, aka Tiana's whole family. It feels inauthentic. So after all is said and done, Naveen is still broke, so that leads Tiana to basically call on Louis. I don't know, I guess she can still talk to him, and use him to threaten the Finner brothers into accepting her previous offer. Don't know what they're gonna tell that other guy. I want to say that this is an awkward moment. Why? Because one, Tiana is still hugging Lottie. Not with her friends. Not with her actual friends. And if you don't believe me that Lottie and Tiana are not friends, it's my first video. They aren't friends. Go watch my video. Like it fits better when it's white Tiana. Like, isn't that crazy? Also, just wanted to point this out. Tiana falls when she's dancing at the end. And she's caught by Naveen. And I'm just like, Tiana can't dance. And I know that's a stereotype. It's a stereotype, guys, but at least we could have had something. But we didn't get anything. But I was like, this girl can't even dance. So it's more fitting. I'm joking, guys. That's a joke. Okay, so yeah, that's it. That's the whole movie. Yeah, overall, I hope you can see how turning Tiana white changed almost nothing in the movie. Like, there was like no major changes. Some awkward moments, I pointed those out, but nothing fundamentally changed. Like, we didn't have to change anything but like her nose and her skin color. And I promise you it doesn't work with the other princesses. You can't just change their skin color and then their parents' skin color and then the movie works the same way. It doesn't. Here's Snow White. I think we see the problem immediately. How is she Snow White? You see how we have to change more stuff. This is what comes with building a character, designing a character. Try and do that with Cinderella. You start coming up with some really, now they have a slave girl in the house. You see how things are, like, dynamics change when you change the skin color if you have a real character. And Tiana is just a blank slate. A blank slate that works real hard for something that apparently doesn't matter too much because she met a guy and after 2 days she gave it all up. It's just not that simple. And this was an issue with The Little Mermaid, which, to be honest, a video about The Little Mermaid live action inspired this. It was like, well, what if we did change Tiana's skin color? And nothing. It turns out nothing changes, which I think is the scariest thing. It makes me sad. It makes me sad because it's like, we don't matter. Black people don't matter. We don't have a culture. We are not worth learning about. It's not like for Moana that they didn't have a whole research team for that. And that was before Soul. There was no research team for Soul until Kim Powers came.
When I started, the main character had already been developed to an extent, but he didn't feel real yet. We kept asking ourselves what was missing about Joe, and how do we make him feel authentically African American. So I just reached out to the director, Pete Docter, on my own. I sent him an email in the middle of the night explaining how important it would be for him to get a haircut and how important it would be to see a black barbershop in this particular film. So he was like, why don't you just go ahead and write the scene and we'll kind of go from there. There was some resistance in the beginning to adding a new scene that would require a whole bunch of new characters and a new set. The question was, why do we need this? You know, everything about his appearance is taken care of in this sequence about the suit. But when we screened the first draft of the barbershop sequence internally, people locked in on it. Like, wow, that moment feels so real and authentic. And once they saw the benefit of that, it kind of opened the floodgates to adding authenticity to Joe's character throughout the entire film.
They did not give a shit because they literally don't think that there is, like, we're doing anything. Like, we have a culture. We have our own history. It's just not recognized. We have a whole Black History Month to recognize the history that is continually being erased. Like, will we even be able to say that we were slaves in 40 years? Or will that just be erased and we were just like, you know, servants from another country? You know, how far is it going to go? And this is just one of those movies that's part of that erasure. It erased everything that was going on in the 1920s. It was fucking bloody, guys. They did not like black people. There was nothing like this in New Orleans at all. Not even close. Honestly, the Red Summer was massacres. Not just one, many, all around the U.S. Murdering black people because they wanted rights.
The rumor of a black uprising spread in a matter of hours. The idea of a sharecropper rebellion conveniently played into the hands of landowners who did not want their sharecropping practices scrutinized. They did all they could, as quickly as they could, to sound alarms that black farmers were out for white blood.
The story gets magnified that the town is under attack, that blacks are killing people in the streets, that there is a revolution afoot.
And that resulted in the murder of thousands and the burning of lots of towns and buildings and homes and businesses and your typical destructive fare. And we washed all of that away to have this hunky-dory tale where a black woman turns into a frog for about an hour and then gives up her life's work for some broke-ass prince who doesn't do shit and can't contribute shit. He's still cut off at the end of the goddamn movie. So, yeah, I don't like this movie. And I hope you understand why I turned Tiana white. I just want to ring the alarm because I do think culture is important. We all have a culture. And I think it's important to have lots of different cultures, not one culture, not one everybody earth culture. It's all the beauty of diversity. Would you want to eat one thing for the rest of your life? Or would you like the option to have multiple different things? Well, let me know what you think. Do you think white Tiana is different from Tiana? Or do you also see no difference? Thanks for watching. Bye.
Our food?
Huh? Oh, no, my daddy.